So you're salaried, you're going to get paid what you're going to get paid.
Yes.
So it's not like you're like fighting for hours to get behind like in the cockpit.
Yeah,
because
exactly.
you already know what you're going to make. And then when you're out doing all these things, you're not even spending your own money. That is amazing.
So cool. Okay,
Nope.
people
Oh my
who
God.
want to be a travel blogger,
Yeah.
just be a pilot.
Just be a pilot.
pilot.
Yeah.
It's true.
That's
It really
so
is.
cool.
It
What are we
combines
doing?
everything. You make a great salary, especially right now. The industry is desperate for
Yeah.
pilots.
Really?
It's wild.
There's a shortage because of COVID and
yeah,
flying and everything.
and all the baby boomers are retiring, and it's a
Yeah.
whole thing. But yeah,
Wow.
so go be a pilot.
Yeah. Can you, okay, speaking of anyone that wants to be a pilot, can you walk us through a little bit of what could someone make as a commercial versus a private pilot? And whatever you can share. I mean, I know there's ranges, but.
Yeah, so I'm not too well versed on commercial pilot salaries. I know that starting out, what they always say is first year pay in the airlines is not as good as what we'll make in corporate. And when I say corporate, it means the private jets.
Private?
So I can speak from corporate. You can probably start making right around 80 to 100 first year pay, maybe second year pay. And then as you upgrade and your career progresses, you'll probably make we're making right now between 200 and 300 a year, which is pretty reasonable. Depending who you get on with as well. Sometimes you can go contract on the side and make a daily rate. That could be $2,000 to $3,000 a day.
Okay.
Just helping someone out. So it's a pretty good salary. And then for the airlines, it all depends on the type of trips that they pick up. So they can pick up trips that offer double pay or things like that. I know that they have an hourly range as well as a base salary. So
Okay.
can I look at my?
Yeah. Look
Okay.
at yeah. She's like getting
wanna see what
details
she
for us.
Dude, this is so cool.
This is
to
so
me.
awesome. She's like texting a pilot
God.
friend to get some more salary deets.
I just flew back from Japan like 3 days ago, and so
Yeah.
all of this is just so cool.
I know.
Yeah.
Like
I love
you
it.
said, you flew to Osaka, and I was just there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
So once you get that, I also want to know pros and cons, because in my head I'm also thinking there's got to be some, because this sounds amazing, like I should
Right.
probably just become a
Become a
pilot.
pilot, right?
Yeah. But also I'm thinking about my little doggos at home.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking anyone that wants to have kids or does have kids, there's probably, this lifestyle, it's a lifestyle,
Absolutely.
right?
Yes. I mean, I'm still probably single for a reason.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's a lot of time away from home. And I'm definitely at the experience level now where I could go fly for the airlines if I wanted to. That is more favorable for a family. It's more conducive with the schedule. You can drop trips and pick up trips, whereas me on an account, I'm dedicated to that account. Granted, with 3 pilots, we can flip around the schedule a little bit and give each other the time off that we really need. One of the other pilots we have has a son, so he wants to be around for all of his really memorable experiences. And so you kind of just, like I said earlier, you can curate it to what fits your lifestyle the best.
Yeah.
I have a dog. She's 14, so she's been with me pretty much the entire time I've been doing this. I've had roommates who have taken care of her, and I live alone now, but I have like 4 different dog walkers. I have a house sitter. I have it all set up so that she just lives the best life she
chilling,
can when I'm not there.
Yeah.
So
How many days out of the year are you flying or just traveling like away from home, would you say?
So I would say roughly maybe like 100, 150 days a year. But that can always change, and that also depends, again, on the account you pick up. I know some guys that hardly ever fly. And girls, sorry.
Yeah.
Guys and girls. But yeah, it all depends. So I also just started on this job last August, so I'm kind of still feeling it out. I've been flying a little bit more than average because we've been doing big international trips, but yeah.
Cool. That's awesome. Okay. What did you learn anything extra from the friend?
It looks like based on your seniority and the airframe that you're flying, about between $100 to $250 an hour.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
And so
I
believe
believe that's on top of your base pay, but if any commercial pilots out there, airline pilots, please correct me.
Yeah, please correct if that's, but that sounds like I've actually listened to another pilot on a podcast because I wanted to learn like what they were talking about.
Yeah.
And that sounds like pretty much in line with what he was saying too.
Yeah.
So would you say, I know you have a bias because you're obviously in the private side, but what would you recommend flying private or commercial?
It's really hard. I think that the best recommendation, honestly, would be the airlines. This job is not cut out for everybody. It's definitely appropriate for me, but we call it the unicorn job. Like, I found a unicorn job. I love the people I fly with. I love the person I fly for. I like the company that manages the airplane. I like my pay. You know, it's all things that I'm very happy with, and I love the airplane I fly as well. So all of those things combined have made it the perfect job for me.
But I'm sure that there's pros and cons to each. And the way I would think is there's obviously going to be people that you don't want to fly for that may not treat you right and things like that. And that's in any industry.
Yeah.
Having a bad boss is literally what it is.
Absolutely.
So that can happen anywhere. You could also go to an airline and prefer to fly for a Delta versus a United or vice versa, you know? So I think it's...
And the cool thing too about the airlines is that you get flight benefits, although it's tougher and tougher to use with how oversold the flights have been. But you get flight benefits for you and your family, which is fantastic. You practically, I mean, the general way to look at it is the longer you're at an airline, the more seniority you build, the less you fly and the more you make. So it's a pretty nice concept. However, the style of flying to me is very monotonous. And I personally feel like I could get bored doing the same airports over and over again. The layovers are short. You're spending time in a city that you would really love to explore for several days, and you're there for 24 hours, 48 hours.
Quick turnarounds.
So, you know, the travel is another aspect I love about my job is I get to go places and actually explore the cities and be with friends. I fly with friends. So, you know, I get to see the world with my friends, and I'm getting paid to do it.
Yeah.
So
that's so cool.
It's pretty amazing.
Is there how long do you see yourself doing this for?
Probably the rest of my life.
Yeah. Because I was wondering, like, what's the retirement age typically for
65 for the airlines.
It is. Okay.
For corporate, it's a little different. You can go into your 70s. It all depends where you're flying and what style of flying you're doing, and how sharp you are.
Cool.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. And so to move up, whether that be financially or because right now, I mean, you're the captain of, you know, so I think that moving up would be mostly financial or maybe different types of planes.
Yeah.
Is that just working for different people, or is it like any other job where you would ask for a raise and like things like that?
Yes, you could ask for a raise, definitely, and people have. With the way that the pilot shortage has affected salaries and things like that, it's worked out very well in our favor, but it's taken the bosses some time to catch up to what has happened because it's happening rapidly.
Right.
In our favor, but, you know. So I would say that how it works for the job I'm in currently, my boss will get a newer airplane, and that's actually on the docket for us. So he is sending us to type school, meaning I'll get type rated in the newer jet that eventually he'll pick up. So if you stay with someone and they upgrade the airplane, that's an upgrade, and that's also more pay. So you're getting a bigger airplane, a newer airplane, and you're going to get more pay. So you could stay with the same boss or owner. We call it the owner of the airplane, and I know it's a weird term, but
owner,
we stay with the boss. If you stay with the boss for 10 years, you could see your salary increase quite a bit, especially if they're upgrading their equipment, the airplane.
Got it. Yeah. Okay. My biggest question is, can you go fly wherever you want, whenever you want, by yourself?
Like, I'm just going to hop on the jet today.
Not his jet. I mean, like, if you can, because let me give you some background story as to why I'm asking this. My boyfriend, Ryan, won't stop bothering me about wanting to take flight lessons. And so I ended up getting him like a flight lesson, whatever. He hasn't used it, of course, but he works too much. But he's like, I just want to be able to like get up and go and stuff because we were looking into it and you can rent planes.
Yes.
And so I'm curious if you are just like, hey, I want to go here for the weekend.
Yeah.
I can do that.
So I actually have a little plane. I have a little plane at Torrance Airport. It's called a Bonanza. I love it. So I can go fly wherever I want to. That's within range of the airplane and the capabilities of the airplane and weather and things like that. But yeah, I mean, I have the appropriate licenses. So you need, it depends. So you can rent a plane with your private pilot's license. But if there's weather that you're going to fly through, you need your instrument rating. That's a whole nother more detailed way of flying. And so allows you to go through clouds. It allows you to shoot approaches into airports where you wouldn't see the runway. So you have to shoot an approach in order to follow your instruments down to exactly where the runway would be. Yeah, I mean, aren't you ever looking out the window like,
oh,
how do
no,
they see
literally.
that?
And I get freaked out when I can't see anything. I'm like, this is really scary.
Yeah.
Yeah. So there's a whole nother license or rating that you have to get in order to be instrument certified. And that allows you to fly in the clouds. And then after you do that, then you can get your commercial license, which just means that you can fly for hire. You can, get paid to fly. So it's a whole step up. So he could get his private and take the airplane whenever it's a gorgeous day, and you could go wherever you want.
Cool.
Yeah.
Okay.
But
Push him towards that a
you're
bit more.
you're in San Francisco, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So with the marine layer, that can be a little frustrating sometimes. In
Yeah.
Torrance, we have to deal with the marine layer quite a bit. So then you have to, even though you could be above the clouds at 500 feet,
You have to know how to get there.
To get through there.
well, you have to get through them
get
to
through.
land, right?
Yeah.
So you still need to have your instrument rating in order to do that.
Got it.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
Yeah, because I was like, how badass would it be if you're like, maybe this is too much, but when you're like dating, you're like, oh, you want to just go like
Tahiti for the
yeah,
weekend,
you want to
like,
just
come to Catalina. It's an 8-minute flight.
right? You're like, we can go get dinner over here. I'll take us in my plane.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
That's like my showboaty personality to be.
Yeah.
If Ryan listens to this, he's like, oh, you're so annoying.